Hey guys, what's going on? Third Shirt Reactions here. We're back with Shane.
Zach.
We're back with Star Wars, the Clone Wars. We're watching in chronological order. Zach, we had the Sith Lords. Well, I would say the Sith Lords, I guess. Maybe Palpatine has something to say about that. We don't know. But, I mean, I think Darth Maul could say he's a Sith. I don't think Savage could say it.
No, he couldn't.
But, yeah, I think Dooku and Palpatine would feel something differently. You know, you never know. Their ship was floating derelict in space. They were saved by the Mandalorians, and they are joining forces. And we did watch that little supplementary video, and I love Sam Witwer. I mean, I'm a fan of him right here. But I think he really does do a great job voice acting. I've heard him do different things. I think he plays a great Maul.
Yeah, I like him. And I usually like him no matter what he's in.
Yeah,
even if I think his roles are campy sometimes, like in Smallville.
But he was cool, but yeah.
Smallville is a campy show. Either way, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
His role as Maul is good. What they're trying to pull off...
A mini version.
He was trained as Palpatine, or by Palpatine, to act as Palpatine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but when I think of Palpatine... For one, Palpatine, everything he does, you know, bottom line, it's all for him. There's not going to be another Palpatine.
No.
Like, the only one that probably could have come close to what Palpatine's role is in the galaxy is Dooku.
Yeah, because of the influence.
Because of his influence. Like his personage.
Yeah.
As far as Vader
and Maul go,
yeah.
like, they're pretty similar. Because they're both very, very blunt instruments in terms of how the people are.
Yeah.
And, you know, Vader, like, he ultimately is way more badass than Maul.
Yeah.
I love Maul.
Oh, yeah.
But Vader's much more badass.
Yeah.
And like when he comes,
what do you think
the
looks-wise?
culmination of Vader.
What do you think looks-wise? Who's cooler, though?
I have to go with Vader just because of my childhood love for what
I'd go with Vader, too, but if some kid grew up with Maul and he told me Maul looked cooler, I would
agree. Yeah, I'd say, hey, dude, there's nothing wrong with that thought because Maul looks fucking sweet. When he was first introduced in the trailer, Phantom Menace, it's like, whoa, what the fuck is this? But I have to think back, though, that with Vader, though, like growing up, for some reason, I've developed this sense of intimidation more from him.
He's very intimidating. Like, just the way they shoot up at him.
Yeah.
And the Kenobi series really accented that. Like, they got that camera low and they pointed up at him.
The angle they take with him in the Kenobi series is a much younger Vader.
Yeah.
So he's
5 years removed from Revenge of the Sith.
So he's a lot. He doesn't have as much self-control.
He doesn't.
He's not as, you know, like he hasn't reined it in yet.
Yeah.
So he's still kind of emotional about how he responds to a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And he's really cool. Don't get me wrong. I know I trashed him a lot in that series. I was very drunk.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean,
but all the same though.
A lot of the good stuff is really good, and the bad stuff I just ignore. But the good stuff is good.
Yeah, the really good shit is like with him in a quiet room.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like he dominates a quiet room.
Yeah.
When he's up there, like let's say New Hope. Mm-hmm. You know, when he's fucking just screaming.
Yeah.
And carrying on at the very beginning of that movie.
Well, you got.
I get why they did it.
Production-wise,
I know, I get it. But my point though is that he doesn't have as much of a presence like that.
Well, I will say, like after that movie, like Episode 5, like when
he owns it.
When he's in a room with people and he just is intimidating the officers, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I agree. Like, my point is like they learned from 4.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm going to say that. This is me going out on a limb because I haven't really watched any production shit on as far as the Kenobi series goes. But he acts and seems younger. Mm-hmm. Like a young man in that suit.
Okay.
And to me, it's like, okay, that is what it is.
Yeah.
It's over here. I'm going to keep it over here. Because to me, that's not what made me love the character. So I want to separate that from...
Well, some of his high moments. So I can say, like... Supposedly, when he's Vader, like of course he's a little younger after 3, but he actually is Vader. He dives back into that kind of that younger revenge aspect when Kenobi's around. So the idea is like when he sensed Kenobi was there, and he was like obsessed with hunting him down, you see that come out of him. Deborah Chow's idea was like he actually does something similar in Episode 4. Like when like Vader's cool, but right when Kenobi shows up, like he has to face him. He goes right to him. He leaves his job, what he's doing, commanding at the bridge, and he goes to find Kenobi.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So it's like, and then Palpatine knows how to rein him in, though. Like at the end of that series, he said, And I love how Ian McDermott came back. He was like, I'm wondering if your feelings on this are clear. And then Vader's like, he sits back, he goes, they're clear. And we all know what happens in the end with the relationship. His feelings are never clear. Anakin's always buried deep in there. But Palpatine knows how to rein him in.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Well, Palpatine... he's split.
Well, Palpatine knows how to...
Palpatine's fully dedicated. Palpatine's literally what he is. Like
But he's also... You gotta think how great Palpatine is at politics. Like, he's that good at his relationships that when he's a Sith Lord, he has all those skills. Yeah. So it's great.
No, I agree. He's probably one of the greatest cinematic villains of all time.
Yeah, when I
saw Vader has more presence in terms of a face on a franchise. Yeah. But in terms of villainy...
Well, every time I see lists that leaves one of them off, I go, they both need to be on some type of top 10 list, I think.
Or if anything, the fairest thing you can do is like put them on there together.
Or put them on there together, yeah.
Like they Sidious, Vader.
Because both the coolest things about them involved each other. Him turning the Jedi Chosen One into Vader. Guys, before we jump in, if you want to support us, we have the next 4 weeks on our Patreon early access. We also have full-length uncut reactions.
Like a hard-on.
You're right. So this is a pretty cool episode. If you're on the fence about it, maybe this would be the episode or the next one to do that. So anyways, guys, let's jump in. Jump start.
We got to catch the fortune cookie.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, they can.
They can.
Yeah.
But they don't have to.
But they can.
They did use the word can. So.
Where are my targets?
We've identified them at these locations. However, as I've said before, if we try to take Mandalore by force, our people will turn against us.
I will use my army of crime lords to attack different targets across Sundari and sow chaos to undermine the Duchess's rule. Then you and your Death Watch will capture and arrest us, bringing order.
We'll be saviors.
Exactly.
That's
a good plan.
Very Palpatine-esque.
I'll prepare the troops.
That's her, right?
Yeah, that's her, the voice actress, yeah.
What's her name? Remind me.
Katie Sackhoff.
It's a risk to trust those monsters. How do we know they'll keep their end of the bargain?
After this is done, no one will doubt why we're in power. Most will welcome us. Then we execute Maul and those thugs. Those criminals will scatter and Mandalore will be ours.
You're naive to think.
I believe this law will betray us. We have no other choice. We cannot rule openly without drawing the attention of the Jedi. Promise of wealth will find us a new face on Mandalore.
Fancy motherfucking round.
Ohio.
Ohio, yes. Fuck you.
Greed never fails to motivate. And also, like, the nuance of the plan is like, we need these guys to be the face, because we can't draw attention because of the Jedi.
Step back.
That's his voice.
Gangsters, we're under attack.
Matt Lanter. Anakin, yeah. I think it is.
It sounds like it. You're right.
You are now under the control of the Pike Syndicate.
He's not Pike Syndicate.
Or they're all, they're together. All,
By who?
Yeah.
The Death Watch?
No, it appears to be a crime syndicate. Our guards are helpless against their numbers.
Welcome to Mandalore.
We're now all slaves of the Black Sun clan.
I wouldn't throw the word slave out yet. These don't.
Roll right out.
Someone came with, we're all enslaving you. I would definitely revolt.
Yeah.
The Black Sun is attacking the vaults.
I love the drive, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Take him.
I need you all to remain calm. These attackers are just thugs, brought on by the lowest element.
Death Watch is here to save you from these intergalactic gangsters that threaten our great city. This is a war.
Do not listen to him! His war will cause the end of Mandalore as we know it!
That little look back at her. Oh, these people turned real quick.
Very fucking quick. The mob is fickle.
Yeah.
Just like that's shitty ass.
I need to watch Gladiator again. Yeah.
Make sure you put on a good show. As you wish, Lord Maul.
Who just automatically assumes to say that kind of shit? As you wish, Lord Maul. Did they have a conversation beforehand? Like Maul's like, no, you will address me as Lord. And you'll thank me.
What should we do?
I have an idea.
Nothing we can do. The Duchess's forces are being overrun across the entire planet.
Listen.
What's going on?
We're Death Watch, and we're here to rescue you.
You have my thanks, soldier.
No. Thank Pre Vizsla.
Do you think they have to kill some of the fucking gangsters, though, to make it believable?
Yeah. So it's... Huh?
You can just shoot us this whole time with cords?
I do love the idea that George kind of made them like these Scandinavian people.
I got 2 suitcases. I hope it's just something more important than money.
Keep up, you weaklings.
That's terrible. It's not blow up a planet terrible, but...
No, but still,
This monster will not trouble the people of Mandalore any longer. Take him away, Captain.
He has a distinct look.
He does.
Kind of like Clancy Brown's...
Duchess, Pre Vizsla and his men have entered the palace. Should we stop them?
How can we? The people are on their side now.
She just run off with Obi-Wan. Bang and make babies.
I will not be provoked to violence by these terrorists.
Listen, Duchess.
She's right now.
Do you hear the people?
They're aligned. Like, in the current circumstances, yes. Earlier on,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's a big haul.
Or has peace betrayed you too, Duchess?
Peace exists only in the minds of the faithful.
And faith has been the greatest disappointment.
Only when it is broken. The people made willing sacrifices for their freedom. Corruption is not the answer.
Then enjoy your freedom, Duchess.
He's been there forever.
Oh, yeah. So, fuck it. You're wrong, bitch. Now you're here with me.
We now have a base, an army, and the means to expand to other neutral systems.
Your vision no longer matters. Oh, don't fret. I'll still honor our deal. Kenobi will be dealt with. But now you'll do as I say.
I don't feel like you can trust the fucking wizard. You put him in handcuffs. Okay? It's...
Like Palpatine just pointed at him.
I know. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Her political trait only encourages aggression against our planet.
We have learned from this beast the consequences of pacifist principles.
So when you're in The Mandalorian, you just, I think, like seeing this stuff, it means so much more now.
It does.
Yeah.
I love that so much of it developed from a character that was like kind of cast.
Has captured the support of his people, just as we planned. However, he is not their anointed leader yet.
Then let us escape and we shall find one.
Patience. We must move cautiously. Apprentice, I wish a tour of this facility.
Rocco! Pack! Man,
Breathe that shit in.
Hell no. That was a cool fact. Probably wouldn't even see it if I didn't get this version of it.
Cool.
You are the now former Duchess Satine, are you not?
There's no one left now but Almec and I. But he's as corrupt and vile as you.
Really?
I would love to see a live-action version of her.
Almec.
Yes? What do you want from me?
I will challenge him to single combat in front of his men. He will not deny me.
If you defeat him, his soldiers will be honor-bound to follow you.
Precisely.
All night, she's like, don't mind me.
I challenge you, one warrior to another.
Oh, shit.
This horn fuck you up.
Yeah, fuck you up.
You shouldn't just... The effect of the black and red is really cool.
Yeah. He's sitting like Palpatine.
The backpack.
Like you said, only the strongest shall rule.
No outsider will ever rule Mandalore.
If you will not join me, you will all die.
You're all traitors.
Unfortunately for you, history will not see it that way. Execute them.
He sounded really cool when he said that.
I shall waste no time in building my administration.
Choose wisely. I will hold you personally responsible for their failures.
Yes, Master.
Yeah,
that's right in there, man.
Is there?
So, a big part of the Mandalorian history and Maul's, you have now got.
Yeah.
And it's not one of mine, because I think the Night Sister fight with Dooku and the fight he had with Asajj Ventress and Savage. To me, that's my favorite fight, I think. But the producers who make this say that this was one of their best fights and certainly one of the hardest to make. Because they...
I liked it because I had to wonder. Finish your thought first.
Well, they had to make Pre Vizsla, like he is fighting for his life. He's going to put all the stops as a Mandalorian. He's going to use all his tricks. He is also the strongest Mandalorian.
Well,
so he needs to be efficient, but he has to lose, obviously.
Yeah, and I get that. One thing that bothered me about the fight was he's in the flamethrower at Maul.
Oh, yeah.
Maul just ducks. It's like you can just go like to your arm.
Yeah,
3 degrees down.
I would have changed that.
He'd be on fire. It's like
you should have rolled out of the way instead.
The dude just
yeah,
his ass would have been burned up. But I get why they did it. It was kind of short change, probably in terms of time restraints and probably production.
Yeah, I would have just had him roll. I think that's just as easy.
Yeah, or use the Force and block it.
Yeah.
But maybe they didn't want to show you that witchcraft in the fight. They wanted to.
Well, he uses the Force a bit.
I know he does, but they probably didn't want to make it too obvious. In terms of, like, you're a great warrior.
Yeah.
And then on Mandalorian terms, to earn the respect,
yeah,
it needs to be physical.
So a lot of those things are in play. Yeah, he beats him physically.
That's the way
and then he beats him hand to hand.
The way I saw it was that Maul was using the Force, but he's trying to make it look like he still won on their terms.
Yeah.
I don't give any credit to Maul, even though I knew he was going to win.
I give a little credit because he still won. And if
I'm not, because the reason he won was like...
If you use the Force, that's credit to him, because he masters the Force.
I don't know, because to me, it's like you look at the Django and Obi-Wan fight.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan already kicked Maul's ass.
I mean, would you say he kicked his ass? He won.
He won.
He won.
But it was a very, 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 like, such a fucking stupid mistake on Maul's part that it's like, dude, you had every opportunity to win. Yeah. You didn't. I don't fucking care how good you are.
Yeah.
Like, this is such an egregious fuck up that you don't deserve any credit for, like, how that fight ended.
Well, just like most of the Sith, like, there's a level of arrogance that goes into their downfall. Like Palpatine having.
Well, I feel like Vader, it wasn't. Like, he's just like, oh fuck, my. Yeah, he's torn.
Oh yeah, I think it was like you underestimate my power, and then
his son just beat his ass. His son wasn't even like being that skillful.
I thought you meant Obi-Wan and Vader.
No,
and Anakin.
Luke.
Okay.
His ultimate loss.
Oh well, his was the only one I think, really.
But my point though is that come on, man, how fucking arrogant can you be?
Well, as a Sith, I mean, they're pretty arrogant. I mean, but you could be arrogant and smart. I think. I
feel like you should have played a little bit safer. Like come on, man. I mean, this guy is literally at your feet, like 12 feet down in this hole, and you're just like watching him, throwing sparks at him, and he literally just comes up pretty slowly, as I might add. And you're like,
you know what's interesting?
What the fuck?
You know what's
oh no, he's got the lightsaber. Ah!
You know what was interesting is Luke. He uses superhuman speed and jumping ability when he was in the
cryogenic.
I mean, if Obi-Wan, he could have done a little more speed when he
I know.
So even in this 1980s movie, that effect, they did that super fast effect, and in a movie where they've already utilized.
That's my thing. It's like who fucked that up?
I mean, Kenobi's got a few of those. You know, he uses his wit. It seems like there's a little bit of luck. And, they're not always from a choreography point of view, like something that I care about a lot. Like when I was watching John Wick 4, that's one reason why I think those guys do such a good job. Sometimes I'm not in love with the deaths. Yeah, I mean, like Dooku had an okay one. I mean, it was a cool one.
Well, it should have been better. Like they showed. I remember watching. I was on, but it was like the fight we should have gotten.
Yeah,
Anakin and Dooku.
Oh, I mean,
it was so much fucking better.
Well, there's just a lot more of it.
Yeah, he burns Dooku's eye.
Yep.
And the whole fucking fight was so much cooler.
Yeah.
So much fucking cooler.
But that being said, I like that fight.
I like the fight. That's one of my favorite fights in all the franchise.
Yeah.
But because I like Dooku and I like.
Well, the original cut of that's 2 hours. That might. So I heard that might have been, and you can cut some of this out, Brad. I heard that actually was filmed.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying though. Like, that fight was so fucking good though. Like, the choreography. It's like what they planned with that guy, the same stunt double. That portrayed Palpatine with the fight with Mace and the other Jedi.
I don't think it was that stunt double who did Palpatine. Maybe it was.
I thought it was the same guy.
I thought it was the guy who was like kind of balding, and he's Palpatine's stunt double.
Dooku was losing more, like in terms of the entirety of the fight. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, I will take this because it was so fucking cool. The moves were so good, and it's like, who the fuck dropped that ball?
Well, I just, from my understanding, the movies, one of the longest Star Wars movies, that whole Coruscant battle was already 2 hours. I think they just cut some stuff. They wanted to tell the story of the fight. I actually like Palpatine, like how Dooku has to unlock Anakin at first, and maybe in the original cut he did, and then Anakin starts winning. But what you saw, I've seen it before too. It's those moves where he gets his face
burned.
But
that fight, that little blip of the fight.
Oh, it was good.
It's literally only
you need to see
45 seconds.
You need to see some of the Palpatine
45
stuff.
seconds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The fight with Palpatine, the same guy portrayed Palpatine in a fight with Mace and Kit Fisto and all those other guys.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking cool. But those fights are literally only like a minute of the entirety of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like you could have so much better of a choreographed fight. But instead you're like, oh, well...
Maybe they showed it to test screens and they didn't like it. And
test screens can go fuck themselves.
Maybe they said,
like fuck themselves, like, right up the ass, like fist up the fucking ass.
Let's get on this. Let's get on this episode.
God, it pisses me off.
Maybe they showed the test screenings and there's people and there's executives say you need to cut that lightsaber fight down. You need to cut the whole fucking Coruscant battle down. But because I know people that aren't me and you and Eric. And
those executives
and those people go like sometimes the fights are too long.
Those executives can go take it up the ass and eat their caviar, man, because those fucking people.
Yeah.
I know they had the money behind it to make the movies, but like they made some bad decisions.
Well, it just I mean, like I said, I know people who think the fights are too long. Like there's some people who think episode 5's fight is too long, and I don't. Me either. But outside me, you and Eric and some of my friends,
there ain't no fucking way. Who thinks that?
Like,
do Star Wars fans?
Like Gus says, like he thinks that one could have been a little shorter, and he's a huge fan.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. It's just like you're talking from the guy who loves action and lightsaber choreography. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I know, but that's like a blip of the fucking movie compared to the rest of it.
No,
that's what I don't understand. It's like you guys have the rest of it. All we want is like 45 seconds to a minute more. And you're being assholes about it. And I don't.
No, I agree. I could lose some of the Starfighter stuff and have more lightsaber fight.
Well, I do like the Starfighter stuff.
But that was longer too.
Everything. That was very fucking long.
Well, that was much longer.
That was very fucking long. Don't get me wrong. The starfight shit.
Yeah.
I do feel like in Revenge of the Sith, that like opening battle.
It was one of the best.
It was one of the best. It was great, but it should have been a little bit longer. Like it should have been a little bit more like. But I'm just gonna say though that it was still great. The opening of that movie was fucking great. I have my problems with that movie.
Yeah.
A lot of problems, but that opening was fucking great. And like there were great moments in between, like the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight. I think should have been a little better. I think the way that was originally meant to be would have been better than what we got. Oh, why have the high ground? I'm not going to trash I'm not going to trash it too much.
Well, that's the only part I don't like in the fight. But everything, like the moves, are incredible.
No, it was.
Yeah.
And the fight with Dooku in the beginning was great. What they ended up deciding to go for was fine. I wish it would have been better.
And just like Palpatine, like, see, I feel like Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight, okay, you cut it. I wish you didn't, but it's still good. I think Dooku and Anakin's fight, you cut some stuff, but it was still good. Palpatine's the only one who got screwed. Because that fight just wasn't
completely fucked.
Well, it's because they didn't cut it. They just completely put they put old-ass Ian
McDermott. They completely fucking changed it.
They put Ian McDermott in there.
It was stupid.
And he just
stupid fucking idea.
He couldn't do it.
Notes I took, I only took 3.
Okay.
For one, Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah.
I cannot forget.
That ass.
Her ass and her hips. I can't. I first saw her in Longmire.
Yeah.
When I saw her in Longmire, I'm like, she's kind of skinny.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it.
Well, granted, I think she has the holsters in the Book of Boba Fett and in this.
When I saw her in these, she gained a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy, like it's goddamn. Like, I know she's made some videos about that shit.
Well,
about how people notice her.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, but your ass is pretty prominent in this. So it's like stick it right out there.
Well,
it's not like it's like undercover.
I heard she's great in Battlestar Galactica. That's
I haven't seen that show.
Me either.
So Edward James Olmos is in that.
Yeah, and I love
he
that
was
guy.
in Blade Runner
and Dexter
and 2049.
But no, I just think it's great that she played the voice all those years ago, and now she's back in live action. And Dave Filoni said, "You never know, we could be doing this in live action in a few years." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be funny. Probably never gonna happen." And here she is. But you also see her character. So I did watch.
She devised Maul.
Yeah, she does, because she is a member of Death Watch, and I did watch the behind the scenes on this with Dave Filoni. So when the idea of an outsider leading a Mandalorian thing, even though it's Death Watch, doesn't sit right with her. So it's more important to her that she's a Mandalorian before she's a member of Death Watch.
Yeah.
So the idea of betraying her honor and being honor bound to Maul, to her, she's honor bound to being a Mandalorian. So that was where they wanted to draw the line with her. So now you kind of know where she splits off, at least at this point, from Death Watch and from Maul. So you also know that now when you watch Mandalorian season 2 and 3, that woman was there with Darth Maul, like in the same room, and Darth Maul ruled her planet for a while.
Yeah.
So when she's
a Satine, right?
She's a Satine, and there's, I mean,
I got that from the Mandalorian.
You're right. She is a Satine, so you can. And there's more stuff to do with that being her last name going forward.
Yeah.
But now when she looks at that Darksaber, like, she feels the weight of her mistakes. Yeah. And now you see some of the mistakes. She was fucking a member of this terrorist group. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she probably thinks she doesn't deserve it. But I'm glad she hasn't.
Yeah, I agree. And the Darksaber history and possession from Clone Wars to the Mandalorian. So that's why
Darth Maul had that in his hand. Yeah.
But he loses it.
At some point he does. You don't know.
He fucking loses it.
Yeah.
He loses that
Maybe
saber.
Obi-Wan does something crazy again.
He loses that saber to somebody.
He does.
But who is capable enough to take that fucking saber from him?
You have to watch.
Because who has it in the beginning of The Mandalorian? Oh, it's Gideon, right?
You're right, Gideon. And I don't know how Gideon gets it either, actually. Yeah. There's some history.
But Gideon has it.
Yeah. So also, some more behind the scenes here. Maul's plan. We talked about it in the middle of the episode. I don't know if it'll make it in the cut of the reaction for YouTube. But, like, he does have a pretty nuanced plan. And yes, one thing they talked about is, like, they did all this in 22 minutes. And they had to do it in 22 minutes. They had to make it seem, fun and action-y for kids. But also, you needed to see that, like, okay, they are doing an actual plan here. And it feels real and it feels big. So yeah, like the idea that, hey, we are ruling, but we're going to put the shadow government in here because we can't be the face of Mandalorian. We can't be the face of Mandalore because the Jedi will come. And Maul knows that. So you see some Palpatine-esque thinking here. And that's what he was trained to do. So he is doing those things, but on a much smaller scale. And Palpatine obviously is still hidden.
you can't see him succeeding the same way Palpatine does.
Well, that's why I said it's on the smaller scale.
Like there's the route they go with him, with George's idea of him taking control of the underworld.
One of his ideas, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that as a creator. Like you have so many fucking ideas, so they're bouncing everywhere. And when you announce them to everybody, it's like, oh,
it could have been.
It was over here, but
not of it. He had ideas that he never used, and people are like, well, it could have been this. But I'm like, well, that was actually like a fifth draft. It could have been many of these things, you know.
Can you see him being a chancellor?
I cannot, but I know everything that happens with him, and I know.
I get that. I know he doesn't fucking make it.
Yeah,
I do know that.
So it's
my point is that, that you can't visually, no matter what his skills are.
Well,
him appealing to the masses.
It's weird because I know the future. Palpatine rules the galaxy for.
No, it's like Bernie Sanders versus like, I don't know, fucking who's a good-looking politician? I don't know.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, so it's like those guys. If they're
both Democrats, but if they're both fighting for the Democratic position,
the fucking good-looking guy.
Versus the old-ass guy, the old-ass socialist.
Yeah, he's the good-looking guy with the reasonable...
California's got slick back hair. Have you seen him? He's a handsome dude.
You're going to get that.
I don't agree with his policies.
It's just how it goes.
California is kind of...
Most of politics come down to that. You're not going to vote for the...
You know what's interesting is Palpatine, he wasn't like this handsome dude. He's just this sweet old guy. He's wise.
Mm-hmm. We had to wait. He had to wait for that role.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I don't think... Because of the way I guess we do live in a galaxy where there's different species. He looks so terrifying, even to someone who is exposed to other Zabraks, I think. He
does.
Yeah.
The tattoos.
And he's constantly got the Sith eyes. Like he's constantly in a state of anger.
Yeah, so he looks like somebody that's always intimidating.
Yeah.
He looks like someone that's going to control one half of the galaxy while the other one controls the good, responsible half.
Yeah.
This guy controls the hooligans.
The underworld, yeah.
So
no, I can't imagine him doing that because...
And Vader has a militaristic look.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm going to control everything by force.
Well, him and Tarkin really are aligned on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks militaristic.
He does.
He controls aspects of the military and like the underworld. Is like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Vader's here. And
so it's just like, but for me, I admire the character development that we're seeing Palpatine's traits exercised through Maul.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it. I'm not saying I don't, but to me, it's just
you're just doubting his plan.
Yeah, I just know that
it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So it can't. Yeah, I get it. I know it's not gonna work. So it's.
Well, I'm not saying it even from like the end point of view. Like I already know what the end game is and where these guys end up, and like he's not gonna make it.
But can you separate what you know from?
I can, because just looking at how he looks, and how he acts, and what he wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unless his ultimate goal is like, I'm gonna control the criminal underworld. I'm gonna be the next Jabba the Hutt.
Well,
to me, if he only wanted to end it there, he would have succeeded and stayed there.
To be honest,
Jabba's not intimidating looking. He's a big fucking slut.
No, but
I know they're capable of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But he's not intimidating looking at all.
Yeah. No, he's not.
If Maul was ruling the underworld, you like look at him. He got horns.
Yeah.
Tattoos. He's a former Sith Lord.
Yeah.
He would rule for fucking...
Yeah, so I don't know his plans. I mean, I think I do know him a little bit, actually. But, like, it feels to me like if you were in his position, like, you would want to just keep going. And you would want to keep trying to conquer everything. So, I mean, Palpatine doesn't stop until he rules the galaxy. So Palpatine was taught, Maul was taught what Palpatine was taught by Plagueis. You know, you can't, and I think there's a jump here in logic, but first you rule a person, you know, and you manipulate them and you become their leader, and then you rule a group of people, and then a town, and then a province, and then a city, and then a planet, and then a galaxy. Now, from city to planet is a jump, and from planet to galaxy is a big jump.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, you know, that
city
was...
to
That's been passed on.
You know.
Yeah, I never heard it before Plagueis said it, but I imagine that is something in the Rule of Two that is their mindset, and he is a student of the Rule of Two, no more, no less. So I think he's trying to do that. Now, you know, we know he doesn't succeed, but we'll see if he has. I think he has some varying success here. He has shown that he can exercise a lot of that pretty well. But we also know there's a galactic civil war between the two big superpowers in the whole galaxy, which is the Confederacy and the Republic. And they are much bigger than just that planet. Now he's ruling a planet. and that's just one. And it is a system of planets because Mandalore is in charge of a system. But it's one system out of what does Qui-Gon say? Thousands. So I admire him, and I think this brings justice to the character, to Maul being here, and I think Sam Witwer brings justice to Maul. Yeah. But you know what happens. You don't know what happens next couple episodes.
I don't know the in-between.
Jon Favreau, I think he did a great job, and he was pretty excited about the storyline, and he was glad that he went out like a badass. And he actually said a pretty cool thing. Like you said, only the strongest rule. And he just closed his eyes, he accepted it. Now, I don't know if I'd accept it so nobly, but I'd be trying to get out of there. But I like his character. I think Pre Vizsla, and now we know the Vizslas come from his line.
Yeah.
So that I think it's a big fucking armor guy. He's a Vizsla, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So and I'm pretty sure, and then Favreau plays his voice too.
Yeah.
So the Vizsla bloodline lives on. I like Pre Vizsla. I think to me he's going to go down as one of the cool characters. Maybe not top 10, but
he was because he had that kind of like, hey, well, we're going to do this.
Well, he just sounds like Jon Favreau, I think.
Jon Favreau trying to sound like the villain, because his role in The Mandalorian was much more stoic.
Oh yeah.
His role as a villain, as Pre Vizsla, was like, we're going to do this.
Well, I think they modulated his voice.
And then we're going to do this, and we're going to take him over. Like, we're going to do this kind of shitty shit.
Like, you think he sounded a little conniving?
Yeah. And with his role in The Mandalorian, he's more like, hey, this is what it fucking is.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
What does he call? What does he always... I mean, I know he ends up sticking up for Din Djarin.
Yeah.
Apostate.
Yeah.
I love when he took up for him.
I do too, and that's my thing. It's like just a different role.
I remember that was going slow, but now that it's over, I really like that third season.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean,
it actually had more because
I hate to sound like a fucking dog, but because the Katie Sackhoff in the fucking season.
Well, we know she's going to be in the next season.
Well, there you go. I enjoy that too.